In other news, the bank accounts and assets of 14 service providers will be frozen. This comes after the Special Investigating Unit was granted an order by the Special Tribunal earlier today. We've been breaking that story here on ENCA. The providers were contracted by the Gauteng Education Department to disinfect schools to the tune of just over 400 million rand. Can you believe? More than 400 million rand spent on sanitizers. My goodness, the accounts hold up to 6 million rand and the assets are estimated to be valued at just below 5 million rand. We are now joined by the SIU's Kaizer Kganyago. Kganyago, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday View on ENC. Just very, very broadly, remind our viewers, what is this matter about? And from what we had, you've been investigating from last year. I remember the story sort of breaking last year or a few months ago about the sanitization or disinfection of schools having cost the Gauteng taxpayers more than 400 million rand. You've been investigating. Surely you found something wrong. Hence, you are taking the action you've done.
Thank you very much. We have been investigating this matter for the past few months. It broke early in this month where there was a revelation that the Department of Education in Gauteng has spent 431 million rand to disinfect schools. We started the investigation and we indicated at the time that we were going to prioritize this. And that is why we have now, after seeing what has happened in here and the shenanigans that we found, we quickly went to block or to make sure that the accounts are freezed of all those 14 service providers, because they are the first batch of those that we found, and it was important for us to act quickly before the money disappeared. Therefore, that is where we are. And we are continuing with this investigation. But all I can tell you is we have found a lot of irregularities. For an example, the whole process was found to be unlawful. That is the whole procurement process that happened, because the department went and got a deviation from Treasury. And the deviation was very clear that when they do, they must appoint accredited service providers that are on the Central Supply Database, CSD. But I can tell you today that 173 of the 280 service providers were not accredited and were not on the CSD process database. That is one of the things. But some of the things are so scary. For example, they have not looked at the issue of value for money. They just decided that each and every school, if it's a primary school, will pay you 250,000 to 270,000. If it is a high school, we will pay you 250,000 to 290,000, and so on and so on. District office, 300,000, without bearing in mind what the square meterage is, how much of the equipment they are going to use, and whether the school has got 3 classrooms or 20 classrooms. They didn't even care about those.
So you found a lot of stuff that is wrong. I'm just wondering who had oversight over this. From your investigation, the department surely has structures and stuff, especially when it comes to procurement. From my understanding, somebody should have had oversight, but it looks like nobody was doing what they were supposed to do. That's what it looks like from outside.
But definitely, some of the people will have to account, because we have found, for example, that the service providers some of them, where the names were just provided by WhatsApp to the officials and they were appointed.
What?
Without any process, whether to check whether they are on CSD or so on. And some of the companies, most of the ones that we are freezing assets of, are in KwaZulu-Natal, and they were contaminating schools here in Gauteng. Something very interesting, we were told today that some of these companies, after we did the order last week, they went wanting to buy some things with the money in their bank account, and they couldn't buy, and they went to the bank to want to get the money, to say, we've got money, but we can't buy. And the bank told them that you can't use that money anymore. That's
shocking to hear, Ntate Kganyago, as your investigation goes on. This is over 400 million rand from the Gauteng Department of Education. Am I correct? The department concerned is the Gauteng Department of Education.
It is Gauteng Department of Education. That is why the issue of saying you'll then have these companies that are situated in KZN who are busy doing the work in Gauteng and contaminating schools. For us, it is some of those things that we do not understand, but we will get to the bottom of it. We have attached their assets, not only the money, but we've also attached the cars that they had got with the process.
Now, tell me, is the department cooperating with you? Has the department instituted this investigation? Or is this investigation one of those that the president a few months ago, when he addressed one of the family meetings, promising South Africans that he will make sure the SIU investigates COVID-19 related graft?
Yes, this came out in the media, but at the same time, the MEC then referred the matter to us after it came out in the media. Therefore, we have been getting cooperation from the department, and that is why we're able to speedily deal with some of these things. It is still a long way to go, but these are some of the things that we've done so far in relation to this.
Okay, so the Department of Gauteng Education, Mr. Panyaza Lisuf and the team are cooperating. How long more? How long do you think you're going to need to finalize your investigations?
Obviously, I can't give you the time, but the reality is, if you look at the comparison, we have only freezed 40.7 million.
How much? How much? 14?
40. 40.7.
So that's 10%.
And this whole total is 431 million.
431. You've frozen just under 10%. Yeah, well, good luck. Keep on going. Keep on going. I'm sure many taxpayers, when they hear that you are doing the work you're doing, go SIU, they'll really appreciate it. Keep on doing and stay safe.
Thank you very much. We'll try to stay safe.
Yeah. I mean, some people have been fooling around, money for jam, taking this money, taxpayers' money, hard-earned taxpayers' money as if it's money for jam. I say monopoly. This is not monopoly. This is a hard-earned money of taxpayers. And please, you must arrest them. Arrest them, take the money, and also arrest them. Thank you very much. That's Kaizer Kganyago speaking for the SIU in relation to this. Can you believe it? I mean, 431 million rand was supposedly spent under the Gauteng Education Department's program for disinfecting schools during this coronavirus pandemic. I mean, and people... No accounting, nothing. 14 service providers now, their bank accounts frozen and assets taken. So far, well done to the SIU. Just under 10% of that amount, 40 million rand, has been recovered. They are still going on with their investigations.